Bruno Fam was good, but Nqobile, again, made a mistake on the first one. Yeah, but we're back. 2-1 win. Sheffield United away at the FA Cup quarterfinal. We moved to the semi-final. It's a bit of a tough game, hard one to watch. Nqobile, I know, I'm sorry, but how are you feeling? Or please reiterate how you felt.
I just said on the first call that I was absolutely delighted with the result. A real tough, gritty performance against a team that traditionally is the antithesis of Arsenal. And I think the guys really fronted up quite well today. There's a lot of big performances that I think came in, and yeah, it was ugly. I mean, it was tough to watch at times, but I think that's going to be the new norm for Arsenal and for our club as we try and make sure that we rebuild and we try and establish our defensive solidity and make sure that we've got a good defensive system first before we actually build up and try and make sure that we play good football going forward. But I think at the moment, Arteta's focus is just to make sure that we're hard to beat, shore up the defense, make sure that we're hard to beat, and then from there, then try to make sure that we counter properly and we link up properly, and hopefully then the quality football will start flowing. But I don't expect to see any form of quality football probably until 2021.
We were saying the creativity
judging
kind of lacking. But we'll go to some of the points we touched earlier, just to emphasize, because you did make some clear and very valid points. But we'll start with obviously down to the lineup. You did say you were happy with it and was a positive one and probably a good one that you would have put out. And in terms of the back three, I'll just let you go.
Yeah.
I'll just let you go with the first half. So obviously lineup, and then we did say that there's nothing much to talk about in the first going up. So let's just break it down to lineup, the two goals, the goal that we scored, then obviously the equalizer, and then I'll leave the last goal to when you're done, and then we'll talk about that in a bit more detail, because as you know, when we ended up the chat earlier, we were saying that a last minute goal is it was unseen, and you were saying you couldn't remember when the last time we actually did one. But yeah, so we'll just unpack it from your lineup to actually getting a penalty. You know what I mean? A lot of the game actually played in our favor, and I think as Arsenal fans, we were quick to judge when games don't play in our favor. But the last two kind of worked in our favor. So if you just touch on that and let us know your.
So I was quite happy with our defense. With our starting lineup, and it seems like that's probably the system that we're going to start playing now. Is that three at the back? It's going to be probably a 3-4-3. It seems that we're playing at the moment. With the three at the back, your wing backs, two in the middle, and your three up front, and then obviously there will be that fluidity, which will come in, which it can sometimes change to a 3-5-2. Sometimes it'll convert to a 4-3-3, especially when we on throw-ins and stuff like that on set pieces.
Yes.
It changes to a 4-3-3 where you'll see the third center. If it's on the left, the third centre back will go and actually take the throw-ins, or will play almost as a left back in that instance.
To allow your wing backs to rise. Yes.
Exactly. So I was quite happy with our starting lineup. I thought it was a very strong lineup for this fixture. And I think Aubameyang does need a bit of a rest, so I didn't begrudge Arteta not fielding him in today. And as I said, that I think the only tweak I would have made would have been to just start Tierney at centre back as a left centre back and Kolasinac as the left wing back, just purely because I think Tierney gives us a lot more aerially and he's a lot more switched on defensively. Positionally, he's very good positionally. He's up for the fight, and he's not afraid to get up and get busted up in the air. So we've
he's not afraid to get hurt. That boy,
he's not afraid to get hurt to his detriment sometimes, but
it is.
He is. But you've seen in the past two games how well, I think, actually in the last game and also in that Man City game when he plays centre back, how well he's actually filled in that role. And I think he is more suited to that. Yes, Kolasinac has probably got a bigger frame, and that's why he's a lot stronger, and that's why maybe Arteta played him there. But I think he's not really defensively. He's not really aware
Yeah, and
he
also you were
doesn't
saying in the air he's a bit poor.
And in the air, he's not good at the air. He's not
And
good
he's
in
the
the air.
type
He's
of guy
shy.
when he gets the ball, he doesn't want to pass. He likes to run with it. So when you play him as a third
Yeah,
centre back, you get that kind of. He needs to like, oh shit, I'm not
exactly.
that wing back. I need to
Yeah.
make sure I feed tyranny and
So
stuff.
he's not as technically gifted on the ball as Tierney, and he doesn't. Yeah. So he doesn't have. I think he's not as composed on the ball
Yeah.
as Tierney is. So I would prefer having him than, yes, you're right, on the wing as well, due to that it limits almost his options, that he can either play it down the channel or back, straight back inside. And also, even if he loses the ball on the edges, on the fringes of play,
Yes,
rather
yes.
than actually
Then
more
in the
centrally.
yeah.
Yeah, and then so it also gives us a lot more time to be able to recover from that.
And then going to Lacazette's penalty, well, firstly the disallowed goal, we did say it was VAR, it probably would have, with no VAR, it probably would have been a goal. Was in your sense, like, what do you think? Was that just a lack of clearance or lack in terms of that goal? Because it did show a sign that there is like chances for them to score, you know what I mean? And luckily enough, it was a goal. But
Yeah, so I mean, if balls are getting played in, I think there is always there is that risk that if you allow balls to come in, there will be that one that will fall in your
in
team's
like the
favor.
pocket,
But
yeah.
yeah, in the pocket, and especially because it was so early on in the game, I think we hadn't settled. So, and that's another thing maybe that I didn't mention, is that we seem to be starting off quite slowly of late. So it seems as if we're trying to just be a
like
lot
the
more
first 20
conducive.
minutes was just passing back.
Yeah, and it's yeah. So it seems that's been our pattern of play over since the restart, is that we've been quite slow off the block, trying to make sure that we don't make any stupid errors, and that does invite a lot more pressure on us. So we will get those early opportunities coming in against us. But I think after we had dealt with that first wave of pressure, I think we kind of played quite well. I mean, as you said, the penalty was the penalty. It's good to see some of these decisions going our way, because I mean, in some days the ref won't give that, and if it goes to VAR, I don't think VAR gives that either. If the ref
wasn't facing the goal, you know what I mean? Yes, it was a penalty, but hey, as we always say with us, I think it was good to see it.
You're never sure with these English refs, right? And I don't really see a VAR overturning that in an instance where a ref doesn't give it, if you know what I'm saying. It's still
no, definitely.
It's still up in the air because it's one of those where I don't think, especially with what I've seen from the English VAR. If the ref doesn't give it, they're not giving it either.
Yeah.
Even though probably they should be, but with them now, they're not.
But that also speaks to a point on like Lacazette that we touched on when obviously earlier. But the role that he plays is not that out and out striker that's going to get you goals at times. At times he has to be that pivot player that's going to move the ball up and let your kids run.
Yeah. So in a game like this, especially where we're going to be playing a lot longer, in terms of the play, so we're going to be playing a lot more longer balls. You do need that guy who's going to hold up the ball, and I think he does do that slightly better than Eddie Nketiah. So and also you just needed to give Nketiah a bit of a breather. But yeah, he does hold it up, and he will try hold it up and then bring in your wingers to running in and behind him, or just play it off to them and then try and make the run in behind post that. So that is an element that, and I think that's why he was picked in today's game over like your Aubameyang and over your Nketiahs. I think obviously he wasn't spectacular. He tried to do a job. He did work hard. He did try to work hard. And get in about and challenge for the ball. And I think at the end of the day, he did try to do a job. Even though it was unspectacular, as many of the players were. I mean, there was nothing spectacular about what we did, but it was just about doing a job.
He pulled a good shift, essentially. It wasn't like there's nothing you could rave about, but you could see that his presence there did add a bit more to the dynamic. But then we'll go on to because we touched on this before about the delivery of Pepe and stuff. I mean, the wing back working with Pepe and getting the service. And, we spoke about Bellerin and all of that stuff. And if you go to the previous interviews we had with you, you have pointed that out quite a lot, that nobody really gives service to Pepe. And then Now, if you
Yeah,
remember in the last match when Ainsley Maitland-Niles came on, it was like, this guy is phenomenal. Like, he's playing so well. Like, how's he playing this well and stuff
exactly.
like that. And then today he comes on and he plays as the wing back, and we saw like an instantaneous like change on the side, on the right hand side.
Yeah,
With delivery from Pepe, even more experimentation. Like, I feel Ainsley Maitland-Niles has the capability to pass a player, draw and pass
yeah.
and then release. So
So,
that's
so
positive for me.
yeah,
Seeing that.
yeah. So Ainsley is he's a much more technically gifted player than Bellerin, and for me at the moment, he's a much better right back than Bellerin, just purely because he can carry the ball a lot better. He does pass it a bit better. And, he's a lot more assured on the ball. He has the ability to beat a player as well. So I think he just needs to get it out of his head that he can only play centre back. I mean centre mid, because I think it seems like that's a demand he made to the coach. And I think Arteta also kind of agreed with him and said that, look, you are in the future you will be a centre mid. But I think given where we are at the moment
Yeah,
and for the good of the team, I think he needs
and the
to
injuries and stuff. Yeah,
fill in that right wing back or right back role for us. Because yes, as you're right, because we rely a lot on our wing backs being of good quality at the moment, the way we play, because we don't have any centrally, we don't really have the numbers at the moment. Our system relies on us being able to utilize our width, and then from there on the playing out wide, and then from there then
yeah,
channeling it into the box from there. So, and we need to be able to play out from the back and to be able to deliver good quality balls from there, and which I think Ainsley is more capable of rather than Bellerin. And I think he should be playing more often. I think because Bellerin really has been subpar
yeah.
since
Since
we've
his
come back from the
return, even with
since we
Callum
come back from the
Chambers when
break.
he played there, he also didn't have a
Yeah,
great
so
contact with Pepe.
yeah, so it's just that, and I think that Ainsley will be able to unlock a lot more out of Pepe purely because I think they've just got that better understanding of each other, and they are able to link up a lot better
And
together.
going on to, like, obviously now we'll go to the sore topic where they scored against us. And we were talking about it in like 87th minute, the usual nonsense that we normally used to,
Yeah,
getting a late equalizer. And sometimes, as you said, after that, you thought, and it did look like they would get a second, because they were pumped.
yeah,
They did come out second half, I felt a bit better. We played a lot better in
yeah.
the second half, defensively, so do you think, like, I remember we spoke earlier and you were like, your guys were tired and stuff. And I forgot to ask you this. And I was like, do you think it was due to the summer? Like, actually playing in this type of summer? Or, like, I know it's still a silly question, but you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's
in terms of the
yeah.
heat.
I don't look. Yeah, but I think all the players are suffering right from that. It's not
Or do you think it's
the
a
heat doesn't
3 month
only
break?
affect Arsenal, and the break doesn't only affect us. It's
Mm,
all 20 teams in the league are going through. So I think that is kind of a weak excuse per se because everyone is going
yeah.
through that. So everyone will go through that. So, but yeah, we need to find ways of winning in spite of that because as I
Mm,
was saying that all 20 teams are unfit at the moment. All 20 teams are suffering from the heat. So
yeah, that's
it's
true.
one of those which we need to just deal with a lot better. And as I was saying that, I mean, with the, and it's understandable, with the fatigue creeping in, a lot more mistakes will happen, and a lot of people, especially players who are not technical, who are not really gifted in the defensive art, like your Pepe and them, who I think he did put in a great shift today
Yeah.
defensively. But obviously, towards the end of the game, as the game wore on, and as they piled on more pressure, it created more opportunities for him to get found out of position or found maybe marking the wrong man or not pressing when he should have pressed,
Mm,
and
mm,
that's when, and then obviously that will open up more opportunities for Sheffield to start delivering those balls from their left, our right hand side into the box. And I think and that's the one thing that I think we did quite well initially, and especially in the first half, is that we were able to close down a lot of those
yeah,
balls.
on the
And
wing.
actually, that's
Yeah.
where our formation worked out quite well. Is that we were able to nullify a lot of the balls that the guys play. We were able to close them down and make sure that
Mm,
they were
mm,
playing the balls from a lot deeper than they would have liked to. which gave us a lot more time to actually get under the ball and clear it. But obviously, as the game wore on, and as we set up to, because I think also in the second half we kind of adopted we have what we have, we hold mentality, and we were like, look, we're going to close them down on the flanks, let them play long, we'll header the ball out, and then we'll try and counter.
Just try to see the game out, and then
just try. And I mean, yes, there are, and I mean there are pros and cons to that. There will be that mistake that will sometimes happen. Like what happened today, where it was literally just a brain fade where Holding missed the ball, and then Kolasinac also didn't cover himself for glory. But I mean, he played it off, and it's unlucky. I mean, some days you play that off, your player goes out for a corner. Some days you play it off, your own player pops back up into the keeper's hands, and we live to fight another day.
Really
so I mean, those things will happen. You know, those things will happen in football games with teams bombarding you with balls into the box. That one or two of them might fall for them, and they might capitalize or not on those. So I mean, it's one of those where you just have to kind of accept it. And so I won't lambast any of our players, particularly for that.
Yes.
Play. Yeah.
No, but I get what you mean. It's the thing is, it's not like something we're not used to. It was just disappointing, I suppose, to concede.
Yeah, it was at the time.
Manner. Remind me of the Brighton equalizer. You know, it's like
exactly. Yeah. So and when it happened, I saw another Brighton happening. To be quite honest, because they were piling on the pressure. I thought we would just, the heads would drop, the shoulders would drop, and because we had worked really, really hard.
Yeah, we did. The guys actually did.
The guys were fighting. The guys were putting their bodies on the ground.
And that's what you said prior was the work rate you saw was a lot better, even though the game itself was not pretty and it wasn't a fancy game and there wasn't those beautiful passes and stuff. But the rate of work of the dudes and as you were saying, you were saying prior, like hard work, you shouldn't be just selected because you're working hard, because that's a given. You're a football player, but when you see the team, I think when you see the team working like this in these kind of legs, because with Eddie Nketiah, he's a worker, but we need a whole team. We need 11, 10 people to be doing this, or even 9. And as you said, I did notice it, but when you said it, you highlighted it a bit more. Like their work rate just showed a lot more. It's like they wanted to win.
Yeah.
And as you said, we all thought shoulders are going to drop. Second one's coming. I thought personally, here's 120 minutes. I got 30 minutes more.
I was praying. Yeah, I was praying. I was praying for extra time, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it must come quick. I was like, making it one.
Guys are going to score. They're going to score at any stage now. I was just hoping, let's get extra time. Let Arteta talk to the boys, calm them down. Maybe bring in some quality.
The goal, yeah. So after that goal, you obviously thought we're going to concede and let Arteta do whatever. So then I'll go on to obviously seeing the goal and seeing the play, your build up and how it felt for you,
So yes, I mean it was a fantastic counter attack. I think the youngsters linking up quite well. I think Saka played a great ball to Nicolas Pepe, and I thought maybe his delivery into the box could have been a bit earlier, quicker. And I thought actually when they made that tackle, that chance was gone. But thank goodness that Ceballos had actually bombed into the box as always, had bombed up to come support, which is something we don't really do these days. And he went and he bombed up and he followed on and he was actually able to capitalize on that. And I think it was really, really a quality finish from him. I think everyone was expecting him to square the ball. I think the Sheffield defense was expecting to square the ball, which is why they didn't even bother to go try to close him down, and kind of left the goalkeeper Henderson with no option but to actually try and close him down, because he was in such a dangerous position where if no one was closing him down, he could have literally drilled the ball into the back of the net anyway. So he kind of closed him down to try and make sure that he actually squares the ball, and hope that the defense, because Sheffield had numbers back. If you actually look at it, they had numbers, and they had numbers in and around the 6-yard box to actually close off any square ball. So I think he was playing for that. That he was expecting him to actually play across, so he was going to try to force him to actually play it across, and then we hope the Sheffield defense deals with it. But they didn't, and it was slipped it underneath his his armpit, and it was a quality finish. Yeah, and I was saying initially that if anything, if I was Henderson, I'd be very disappointed with, even though yes, you shouldn't be getting beaten on near post as a keeper. As Henderson, I think I would have been very disappointed. As Chris Wilder, I'd be very disappointed that neither of the two players that were sitting in the 6-yard box went out to actually try and close him.
Yeah.
To try and close him.
Was that Danny's first goal? Do you know? Was this his first goal for Arsenal?
Is it his first or second? I think he might have. Has he not scored in Europa League?
Oh yes, I think he did. Yeah.
I think it's the second goal.
But yes, this was his most important goal. So we'll leave it like
this was his most important.
Yeah.
His most important goals. But then goals, as we said, I mean, our midfield can't seem to buy a goal these days, and that's why it's been very refreshing to see. I think Willock score midweek, and then today Ceballos, because I mean, we've virtually had no goals from our midfield this season. I mean, you get Xhaka doesn't score many goals, Guendouzi doesn't score goals, Ceballos hasn't been scoring.
Has he even scored? I don't think he has at all.
No, I don't recall. I think he's also scored one Europa League goal all season.
Oh yes.
So I think he only has one goal. So if you look amongst our midfield, I think we've probably got five. We've got a handful of goals, not more than 10, probably around 5 or 6 the whole season in all competitions, probably amongst all of them.
Hopefully, this opens the doors to the rest of these guys can score, because I think reliance on Pepe and Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Yeah,
easy to take us out the game if you mark those dudes, or you put
exactly
where they can't get even close to the goal. And we've seen it. It's not like the first time. We've only seen it once. So I think it's now onus on these type of dudes, you know what I mean? Like your Ceballos. Maybe not Xhaka, because I think Xhaka, the role he plays, we don't expect goals from him. You know what I mean? And it would because he does have that shot. But I think his delivery at times is more important, you know, those switch balls. I didn't see a lot of those today. I didn't see a lot of switch play a lot today. But to be honest, it just looked like we were just trying to grind it out. It's not an easy place to go. It's not an easy team to face either. You know, there's 6 opponents, I think.
Yeah, there's 7. They're 7th at the moment.
And they're not a bad team, you know. So I think this is
they're a good side. They're a very tough side to beat. They play to their strengths. They know they've got very big, strong players, very dynamic formation. They've got guys who can play, who are very good crossers of the ball. So they like to deliver the ball, deliver it early into the box, and make sure that they get the McGoldricks and Burks in and amongst your defenders, and feed off scraps literally. And they've also got John Fleck, who I think is also a very underrated player. I mean, he's not beautiful on the eye, but he's a very good. I think he's for the style of football that they play. Fleck really complements the team, and he really plays very well in that. So they've got some very, very tricky players who I think, I mean, for us, we've really battled to play against those type of players in the past, and it was very good. I think for me, it was very pleasing to see us get in. And I was happy to see our boys get in and amongst them and match them physically, you know. And I think that's what we need to try to do a lot more of.
And the one thing we didn't speak about, and I think, well, we speak about him all the time, but this guy just keeps getting better after each game, you know. Saka, you know, he wasn't phenomenal today, but you just see his quality, and you can imagine where he'll be in like the next 4 to 5 years.
I think Arteta's got a big job in trying to convince him to stay on, because I think there's a lot of English Premier League clubs and maybe some European clubs probably knocking on his door. I think at the moment it's about us trying to help him, or try to convince him to buy into the project and buy into the fact that he's going to be our star player of the future. Look, I think he's still got a lot more parts of he's got a lot of things that he needs to still work on in his game, but he's very raw. He's very rough. But what you are seeing at the moment is that there's a lot of potential in there, and you can see that he's got that ability to beat players. He's got that ability. For a young player, he makes very good decisions on the pitch. And yes, there's obviously certain elements of his game that he's still needs to work on. But yeah, you hope that with time those will come naturally. And I think Arteta is right now. It's about Arteta convincing him that look, he's going to be in there for a long time, and he's going to be able to actually help him progress and grow, rather than him going and signing a deal with Liverpool or a Chelsea. That actually at Arsenal he will get that chance now to actually play and develop, versus biding his time for another season or two, coming in off the bench at another club.
Yeah, no, he's just like I'm just really taken back by how well he's done and how much he's progressed and what he brings to the team. Sometimes he's like our best player or hardest working player.
Yeah.
You know, assisting. It's just nice to see, considering like going to like the injuries that we're getting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's promising. I see. And like having also like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, having Xhaka back coming, because we have no Torreira.
Yeah.
Tobias doing what he's doing. I think it's these kind of small takes that will let us keep going. We'll keep Arteta showing. We'll give positive to Arteta to keep them going. Because like as much as we criticize him today, I think he got it right. And today I was happy with what he did. I think he maybe even the subs too. A lot of the frustration with me is that every one of his subs in the past 3 games have been injuries. So he's never used like a proper tactical sub where sub 1, this is what I'm doing, sub 2, so I think he's been unfortunate with that. And I think a lot of us are questioning his lineup and tactics. And I think maybe he's figuring it out. I don't know. We'll still have to see. Because personally, when I do a preview show, I never get anything right when it comes to Arteta. Like every lineup I've done, every prediction is never been right. Like he never puts the same people on. And I think that's nice because I think maybe it's like we were tired. Remember when Wenger would always have the same team all the time, change 1 or 2 dudes. It would be like, why? This and that. But for Wenger that worked, he knew what he wanted to get out of them. I think Arteta is still finding that. And games like these, I feel, are more important than, like, obviously Brighton was a bad game, but we played good football there. You could only fault us on certain things. But like on the Southampton game, it showed courage, strength, endurance, perseverance, stuff that, like, soft skills that as a footballer, yes, you must be able to play ball, but under like today's game, if it wasn't for maybe Southampton or us at Brighton, we might not have won the game. You know what I mean? Because, because going according to how it was, we would have probably conceded in the last minute. But to keep that fight going, to keep things running, I think that for me, it showed a lot more, a lot better than what I've seen in the previous few games. And it gives me a bit more hope with Arteta. I don't really criticize him that much because he kind of took over a wounded Arsenal team, battered, beaten, so, and he's doing his thing, and and I can't fault him at times. I can fault his lineup and we can question certain things. But today it was against, we know how tough these dudes are. So today I felt he got it on the money. I could be wrong. People could disagree with me. So I want to get your take on Arteta, like today. It's the FA Cup. He won it as a captain. If he wins it as a player, as a coach, he'll be the second person I heard. So it's a nice, I suppose for him, it hits home. This type of cup. So how do you think he handled the game today as the starting lineup? Obviously, his subs weren't tactical enough, but
So I mean, is I think, as I said initially, that I was quite happy with his starting lineup. Just that one tweak at centre back and left back, which I think could have cost us. But we kind of saw that out, and I think I'd like to see him make that change, probably going forward. But if anything, actually, he probably in the next game he'll probably have Aubameyang now playing where Saka's playing, and then push Saka back to the left wing back, and then maybe, and I'm hoping that he'll probably have Tierney playing at centre back. And if Tierney can play 2 games in a row, because it seems that he's still also struggling with fitness and getting back to full fitness. His changes, I think, were pretty routine. There was nothing really that you didn't expect him to make. So I think he did okay. I know that since we've gotten back, we've had a lot of injuries which have kind of forced his hand. So he wasn't really able to make the tactical changes that he would have liked to make. The one thing though that I think, and I don't know what he's doing in training, for me it is kind of a disappointment is that the players seem to not really have an understanding of each other and how each other plays. So
Yes, yes,
I don't
yes.
know exactly what he's and what he's working on in practice, but that seems to be an element of our game that's lacking. And also, it seems like the speed of play is something. I don't know if that's what he's working on, but it seems that we don't have that urgency and that speed. Players are just keeping possession for the sake of keeping possession, rather than actually looking to their possession and make those probing balls. So I think that's something that I would like to see a lot more for him, for our players to actually start being a lot more confident on the ball and trying to actually try the through ball, try to get in behind the defenders, try to play that forward pass. And yeah, because I think we've got in our front three are deadly. We've got a very lethal and very quick front three, but I don't think we're utilizing them or playing them to their strength. And we're not playing the balls quickly enough for them so that they can isolate their defenders one-on-one. A lot of the times we're playing a slowly and giving the teams time to actually get back into shape. Yeah, and we're giving the defender our opposition defenders time to get back into shape. And now, because we don't have players that have got that trickery in midfield to be able to beat players, draw people out of position, play the through ball, it becomes very, very difficult for once teams get set for us to break them down.
Definitely.
We play our best when we play quickly and we play on the counter. And I think we need to try and make sure that we realize that our players realize that, and they play as quickly as possible, and make sure that we isolate and isolate the opposition defenders and utilize the skills and the speed of our attackers to get in behind and score goals.
And that's what I think is
our
deadly weapon.
He's done an okay job so far. Yeah. So Arteta's he's done okay so far. Defensively, I think it seems like now he's realized that, look, we've got issues personnel-wise defensively, and he's not going to get the backing from the board to go and buy the right players he needs. So I think he's made this tweak to his defensive system or to his lineup to play this 3-4-3 to make sure that we are hard to beat and we do have numbers at the back to deal with our defensive deficiencies. So that's the one thing that I think I've liked with him, is that it seems that we, barring obviously the individual mistakes we've been making, but structurally we seem to be a bit better defensively structurally.
A lot better.
And you can't legislate for David Luiz or Mustafi making. Yeah, but I think also now we are trying to play off of it, but I think we're not forcing the issue anymore, especially with Martinez. I think Martinez is not afraid to say, hey guys, but also he doesn't take unnecessary risks at the back. When he plays from the back, when he's confident and comfortable that we won't play a 50-50 pass at the back to Xhaka trying to, he'll just kick it out and say, hey guys, look, let's just kick it out, let's start afresh, or lump it forward, rather than actually try to play a 50-50 ball to Xhaka. Xhaka gets caught out and then they straight back in at him. So that's one element.
That's true. That's very true. That he has instilled a lot of things, and a lot of people have said he's added a bit of identity back to us, which is nice, because we lost it a bit, but we still have to see. It's a very big overhaul, but I just wanted to get your take on it, because I felt we have to give credit where it's due. He set up the team. They did all right. Maybe, as you said, a back three is much better to use Luiz. And I think him having the versatility to do stuff like that, and the confidence as well as a coach, look, he didn't get it right at City. We thought he got it right at Brighton. But today I felt he did actually get it right. And, it's nice to see that these kind of permutations that he can use are effective, And it also doesn't mean he's like a one tactic type of guy, So I think that's nice. And I think once we get our creativeness back, the tactic of wing backs and how we move the ball like from in to out and then overlap and then back in again. And then I think he can incorporate that with going down the center and then obviously slipping balls through. But it goes back to the point of where's Ozil, what's happening there. But I also don't like to say he's not our only creative player. If we want to play that, we're going to have to give. I think
yeah. So
play that role, but I wouldn't put him there because it's just like I don't want to like we already messed Saka around too much. Like he went to like left back, now he's like left wing, and I remember he played CAM under Emery for one game. So as a kid, you want him to also develop into his role and stick with it, so that he can strive. And if he goes to the Madrids or the Barca's or wherever, he's going as that player. And you don't want to be that like that type of player like an Ainsley Maitland-Niles now. When we have no one to play anywhere, we know we can play anywhere. And it's a trade-off. I feel like in an Arsenal, he's valued, but in another team, he won't be as valued.
Yeah, it won't be.
Versatility, because they have specific people to do that role. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's nice to see like this kind of positive coming out. Slow game, but still getting the win. Still getting the win.
Yeah.
Just before we head out and off here, like prior, I asked you, last few questions. So if you can just tell us one more time, a few like a positive from your side. You're obviously your player of the match, and then obviously a player that you didn't feel was 100%.
So obviously the positives I think today was the determination, the grit, the fight. So I liked how we defended today. And I liked the attitude the players showed in terms of actually willing to put their bodies on the line, willing to fight for the badge, and willing to throw themselves around. And I think that was a positive because it's something that's been lacking in the past from our team. And I think it gives us a real solid foundation or something to work off. Once you're solid at the back, it gives you a foundation or something to work off to make sure that you can go forward and actually now start winning games. Once you actually limit teams from scoring goals, it makes it much easier for you to win games.
And it frustrates them,
and it frustrates them, and it frustrates them. And because we've got players, the caliber of players we've got to actually capitalize on those few chances that we do get up front, I think we are suited to being a counter attack. With the person that we have, we are suited to being a counter attacking team much more than we are a possession team. I seem, especially a slow possession team. We don't have the players to do that at the moment. And then said our player for me, my man of the match was Emi Martinez. I think he looked solid, assured, came out, made a few good saves, commanded his defense quite well, was good with his feet, knew when to take risks and play the ball from that, knew when to lump it forward. And he's really impressed me since he's come in. I mean, Leno was playing also quite well.
He was like a player of the season.
It was big shoes. It was big shoes to fill in at the time when he came in, and I think he slotted in quite well. And it seems that he's also given our defense a lot more confidence. That he's actually up for the job.
And he is a lot faster than Leno, I feel. When like Leno catches the ball, he'll like run to the edge of the box and wait a bit. But I noticed Martinez kind of like he likes to make that ball move fast out, get the counter going, quick. So while the guys are already on their backtrack, back to their half or whatever, the ball is already out of play. I didn't see Leno do that too much, but to be honest, I can't criticize Leno like to an extent. I think, as you said, it's probably great that we have a number two to Leno like this, doing these kind of skill sets, because look, playing out the back is never easy, and if this guy was shaky at it, we would have just been all sorts, So, I think I didn't really see any extraordinary saves. There were a few, that one that you were talking about earlier, where he got down, but it's also managed. When you can see how he's managing his defensive line, the way he's talking, the way he's releasing, that's more than any of the saves he can make. You know what I mean? And obviously, the goal that he conceded, I couldn't even fault him for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing he could do there.
Yeah. So.
And then I think as well. I mean, yes, and there were, as I was saying, there's a lot of players today that performed. It wasn't like a whole host of 8s out of 10s and 9s out of 10s and 10s. There was a lot of solid 6s and 7s, I think, today. So a lot of the players played they put in quite a good shift today. Ainsley put in a good shift today. And for me, he should be our right back going forward. Pepe put in a good shift. Willock put in a good shift. Saka has been Saka. He's been playing well all season.
Even
You know, so
Xhaka,
I think a lot of the
they
players,
all did.
granted Xhaka played, yes, he made, as I was saying, he did give away a few balls here and there, but all in all, we looked a lot better. He's kept the shape of the team quite well. We look a lot more solid in the middle and
Did you
defensive.
think it felt that we played more as a team today or more as a unit? You know, we were all trying
So
to.
we defended. So we defended a lot more. Look, going forward, yes, we didn't obviously play. It was only, I think, towards the end of the first half where we were flowing forward and were countering quite well. So going forward, yes, I don't think we played as well as we could have. But defensively, I think we were a lot more solid. Guys were bailing each other out when the guy did make the mistake, covering for each other. Guys were closing down people quickly. Guys people seem to know what their role was and what their assignments were and who they needed to close down. So it was quite clear. It seemed that we were well drilled and people knew what to expect and how to deal with it. And yeah, so I think we really nullified.
We looked a lot
We
better.
nullified Sheffield on that, yeah.
I think
in
once we
that
get
respect.
that defense right, and when we were talking about in the previous interview, the transition play, and I think it's slowly getting there. If we can move the ball a lot faster, get creative, you know, but right now it looks like if we're playing the counter-attacking game, it can work for us. It can use it to our advantage, you know. It's just that we're not going to see as much attack as we used to, as much through balls and stuff like that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we got to get these type of results. We got to, you know, we got to take the win, like Southampton. We got to, you know, it's 3 points. You know, here we're moving on to the semis. As you said, we can speak a bit about the FA Cup. You know, it's like our pride and joy as Arsenal fans, apart from the Bulls. You know, we do well in the competition. You know, it's a very esteemed competition from back in the day. You know, we won a lot of times. Arteta played in it, won it. Now he's the coach in it. So for me, as you did say, like obviously we should take this. This will be a nice cherry on the top, or not even a cherry on the top, but it'll be a nice ending to kind of I would say we never experienced this as Arsenal fans. It's kind of been a very weird season, strange.
It's been
you know, it literally feels like
it's been a terrible season.
You know, it's been City, you know, like stuff like that. Yeah. Like 3 coaches, interim coach, I got an ex-player coach. So it's like, it's weird. And I think this is how the new way of football is working. And I think we were so accustomed to Wenger's way. Look, he was a great manager and a perfectionist and a beautiful coach. You know, he knew his shit. But the thing is, obviously times have changed now. And I'm not saying he's irrelevant. It's just that the style that he went and he's playing with is maybe it's done for right now until we can get our issues resolved, you know, back line, high press, but you know, the creativity would come. You know, so like just going into the FA Cup, so we threw semi-finals. How confident are you that we can go to the finals or maybe even win it?
It depends who we play. So as I said initially, that it's our big chance. It's probably it's our realistic chance of making Europe again. That's if we want to play in Europe. As I said, that I don't think playing Europa League will be any good for us next season. But I mean, I think financially we still do need it. It seems. So I think, and this is the only realistic chance we have of getting getting into that competition. But I mean, if you look, it's going to be a very, very strong. I reckon a very, very. They're going to have 4 very strong teams in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and if anything, we're probably most likely going to be the weakest out of if all the teams that we expect to go through make it through. Like, so if you have your City, if you've got one of Leicester or Chelsea, who are both a very, very good side, and both can win the competition, and you get Man United and us, we're probably we are the weakest out of those 4 sides. And and I think, look, I mean, we need a bit of luck. If we, like, let's say, draw a Man United in the next round, which in the semi-finals, which is a club that I think we can beat out of all of those sides I've mentioned. Probably the one team we are most likely to beat going into a semi-final. And then hopefully, if we do get into a final, if we play anyone but Man City, I think we've got a chance there, because I think Man City have got one over us at the moment. We are on a hiding to nothing when it comes to playing. But if we can get a Chelsea or Leicester, I'll back Arsenal against the Chelsea Leicester or a Man United, but against a Man City, I reckon we've got no chance whatsoever against them. So it would be lovely to give the fans something to celebrate after a difficult season, and I think it would really boost the morale of the players, and maybe give the players, some of the players that were looking to move on or they're not convinced about the project, some belief in the project, and maybe convince them to look, let's fight it out, let's stay a season or two longer, just to see where this project
actually see some progress
goes,
and some like kind of winnings and stuff
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, so for me, it would hopefully like entice your Aubameyangs to sign, Saka to sign, because now Saka is apparently he's a key player, believe it or not. So get him to, hopefully you can convince him to sign, convince Aubameyang to sign, and and see where we go from there. So I think that would, but I'm not expecting us, to be quite honest, I'm not expecting us to win this trophy. It's not a given. But yeah, we've been lucky in this tournament in the past. So hopefully that luck will come through for us again, and we'll get some reward for all our suffering.
Yeah, we need some pride back. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Even if we finish decently in the league, it will be nice. But it's a start, and I think that going to 8 more games left and 2 more games left in the FA Cup, we've got a lot of work still, and I think that Arteta sees that, and he sees that he can actually maybe show us a bit more to what he's capable of in his last few games. I hope so. Because
so I think these last few games for me, it's more about him testing out this new system that he seems to be playing. I mean, I think it's about building for next season. Let's try to get out of this with as few injuries as possible, and just make sure that we building for next season. Because I think, to be quite honest, I think the pressure's off when it comes to the league. I don't really foresee us making Champions League. Europa League is what it is. So I think, if anything, for him, I'm hoping that the hierarchy has said, look, the pressure's off when it comes to the league. Let's just try out a few things. Let's see maybe what we can work on. Who will you keep going forward? Who will you try and offload in the summer? What system are you going to go with? Who can you try and bring in to try strengthen that system you're going with, and then build on for next season?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that'll actually be the only approach that will kind of work, because like trying for anything right now, it's pointless. He'd rather just write it off, go and play his team, find his combinations, find the guys he wants to keep, and the guys that are just dead wood, let them go. Because we're like, look, I don't like to talk about this team, but it's a good example of what can be achieved. Like, there were a lot of managers that came into Premier League boards and stuff, but Jurgen Klopp, for example, he came in, and you know what, I don't like to talk about Liverpool, but like, it's a good example, because if you look at his 2016 team that he started with, and you look at the team that he won the title with now, but there's like 1 or 2 players that are still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did a complete overhaul. He changed it.
He did, but
he changed everything.
He was given a lot of time to do that, because remember, it took Klopp a long time to get to. This didn't happen overnight, and people seem to think that this was an overnight success, but it wasn't. And what they did very well is that they bought smartly in the transfer market, and they also sold smartly, which is something that we've never done.
And they had confidence.
Now you've got players like Saka who might leave on a free. Ramsey has left on it. All our best players have been leaving on a free. But if you look at Liverpool, they've made 2 or 3 transfers. They've sold 2 or 3 players, and been able to buy 6 or 7 better players than that.
Exactly.
They've been able to get rid of Coutinho and bring a whole raft of players. Get rid of Suarez, bring in a raft of players. Whereas that's what we've been lacking at the moment. So even like, let's say, an Aubameyang, if you sell Aubameyang, you'd rather sell him. He's got 3 years on his contract. He's going for 70, 80 plus. Versus if you sell him now, he's probably 40, 50 at the most. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that where we haven't covered ourselves in glory. Also, when it comes to how we've done our transfer dealings and how we've handled players' contracts. And for me, that's one of the key successes of of Liverpool is that they've bought very well and they've sold very well and used the funds that for the players
Yeah,
that
and
the
they
players
and
that
they
they've
didn't
been
actually
selling,
tap
they've
into
used
their
the fund.
bank as well. You know, they didn't use like profits
Yeah.
or anything like that. It was a continued deal, pretty much bought Van Dijk and a few others.
Everyone, yeah, bought that entire team, yeah.
You know, so I get, but like the thing is, it's like I feel it's like a year. It's like the board giving trust in Jurgen. You know, like they kind of see what he wants to achieve, and they had faith in him. You know what I mean? And obviously, it didn't pay off in 3 years. It paid off in 4 years, 5 years, or whatever, however long it took.
Yeah.
But it paid off. You know, and he showed progression. You know, semi-final or finals 2 years ago, finals last year was this no this year, finals last year, finals this year, and then he wins the league at the end of this season. So, like, I'm not saying we should be a Liverpool. I'm not saying. I just feel that sometimes they need time. Even Pep, they gave him time and they gave him money. So, I just feel that us as Arsenal fans shouldn't. We can't be so hard on our test. Like, oh, we should be hard on our structure, or hierarchy. Like,
Yeah, that's
support
the
the dude. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
Support
the issue is the structure at the moment at Arsenal, and we don't have the funds. So what we need to make sure we do is that we need to handle our contract situations a lot better, because the only way we are going to make money is that the only way we're going to strengthen our team is that we're going to have to be able to sell our players for the maximum value we can get out of them, and then be able to bring better players or
at
bring
a
other
lower
players
wage rate.
at a lower rate who actually have got the ability to become great players and strengthen. So you sell like let's say you sell an Aubameyang, but with that money you can actually bring in 3 players who can fill in, let's say you can bring in a centre back who can shore up our defense. You bring in a defensive midfielder. We can make sure we now sell in midfield and bring an adequate striker with that money who can maybe not get as many goals as Aubameyang, but can still get 15 a season. And therefore, what you've done there is that you've actually made sure that now we're difficult to break down, and we can
But
still
that's
more or
pretty
less
much
score
what
goals.
Jurgen did too. You know,
Exactly.
he saw my defense is cut. You know when he started, he still had Skirtle. I was like, the two was still
Yeah.
when Jurgen was there.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, okay, I understand what.
So that's the top. So that's and we haven't covered ourselves in glory when it comes to that. When it comes to, I don't know. I think we've usually used like Dick Claw and all these other guys to go and negotiate our contract.
Yeah.
We
And you
haven't
also
covered
like to take
ourselves
like I feel sometimes you
in
like to
glory,
just
and I'm
take.
hoping that Raul Sanelli, because also yeah, and it also seems, and the one thing that I'm not sure, so it seems that Raul Sanelli and them also at the moment they haven't really done that well when it comes to player contracts and buying the right
Even
personnel.
scouting,
It
even
seems usually
scouting,
so.
like
And
they.
in our scouting, I mean, we fired quite a lot of scouts as well, and some people say rightfully so. I think we were quite bloated when it comes to the department, but also it's about keeping the right personnel even when we do these restructures, and also buy correctly. Because even now you see us being linked still with wingers and strikers and stuff like that. I'm like, but that's not what we need at the moment. At the moment, we need central midfielders. We need centre backs. That's
And I feel
where we
like
need to strengthen.
we sell a good, like remember how we let go of Koscielny. Koscielny, I still irritate me over that, but like he's still good. He was good, but we let go of him and we didn't truly replace him with someone because he was also a leader. So we were like, you know what, David Luiz is a similar maybe fit to Koscielny. I'm not saying they were comparing, but maybe he's that leadership skill. Because I felt Koscielny wasn't great, but he was a good defender. He was a good captain. You know, he brought other aspects to the team, and we kind of let him go. Yeah, I know we had Mustafi and Socrates. Then we bought David Luiz, but it just feels like we take other people's scraps, man. We just don't go out for like a fresh purchase, you know, like a brand new. You know, we take a lot of
So we haven't. So we haven't. So what we need to do is that we need to. I think the only way forward, and I don't know if how much money we have, is that what we need to maybe try to do, which what Liverpool has done well, is that they've bought very well in the English market. So they've gone and gotten players from Southampton. They've been able to pick the best from the rest. So they were able to get, like you say, your Shaqiri from Stoke. They've been able to get Ox from us. You know, good squad players. So they've been able to get good squad players and get the best of the rest in terms of the bottom half. They've been able to get the best of the bottom half teams And that's, I think, something that we maybe need to start looking at, stepping into, trying to see that, okay, let's say Southampton have got this X player and he's actually quite good. Let's go out and get him. Let's go get maybe a decent player at your Newcastle or then their rising star there and use that. So they've been able
actually,
to.
I get what you're going with. It's like
they've been able to identify those players and bring them in, and
you also have that Premier League experience. You're not
exactly. So
you don't
exactly.
have to, like, bring them into the game.
Yeah. So that's what we I think need to work harder on, is trying to identify players already in the English Premier League that have that potential to be good players for us, because there are some quality players in this.
Are quite ballers. If you look at it, our English kids that we bring up in academy are quite ballers.
Yeah.
But
it's not. It doesn't even have to be. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be English kids, but it can be it could be foreign players that are playing for your West Ham.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Your Southamptons, your Newcastles, because those teams, some of them they've got decent.
Yeah, they got good players, good talent. Like Mane was from Southampton.
Players like that. So you look at, as I was saying, Liverpool. You hop on about Liverpool, but they were able to pretty much buy the whole of Southampton. They've been able to bring in your Lalanas.
We can talk about Pep and what he did, but it's not that I like Jurgen or I like Pep. I just like the way Jurgen did what he did. You know what I mean? It's a structure or a way that we could follow.
Yeah.
So that's actually realistic.
So they were able to identify good fits for their team within the budget that they had, and they were able to get ready-made players who have got English Premier League experience, who could fit what they were trying to do, and were able to actually plug the holes that they had at the time. And that's one thing I think that we need to, and that's something we've never. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, carry on. It's something we never.
So I'm saying that's one thing we haven't really been able to do, is to actually address the issues that we've had. We've had issues at centre backs for Youngs, but we've had issues at defensive midfield for seasons upon seasons now. We've never addressed it.
It's the same thing.
That's one thing we need to.
It's not about buying an 80 mil striker today. It's not about buying an 80 mil midfielder. This dude, we'll go back to him, and I'm sorry we moved up past Arsenal, but his two most expensive players was a centre back and a keeper. You know what I mean? That's like Jurgen Klopp. You know what I mean? That's like 150 million, almost 160 million right there. And it shows you that you don't need the world-class striker, because Firmino wasn't that expensive, Mane wasn't that expensive, and Salah wasn't that expensive. And as you said, it goes back to maybe plugging the gaps and spending your money in the right places. If you want to spend, you can at least go buy a big player in some way that will make that we are actually crap at. Like right now, we need maybe a center attacking mid, but we don't need a 50 million or 80 million, 100 million one. We just need a kid that can move the ball around well, because we're doing a more moving midfield instead of creative. So you don't necessarily need that kind of outstanding creativity like buy a Dybala or buy some David Silva quality. You don't have to go there as yet. It's not necessary. But I would recommend getting a 65 million centre back or central defensive midfielder. Along those lines. Because that's where we need that solidity. And that. But for me, I was really surprised at how good Virgil van Dijk became. I didn't know he was that good. Like I saw him.
I knew Virgil when he was still at Celtic. He was quality, that guy, and I was bummed that, because we were linked with him when he was still in Celtic back in the day. We were linked, Virgil has been quality for a long time. So, and it's things like that where we haven't brought in the right players. Even if you look at Leicester, you look at a player like Soyuncu, player we've been linked with for a long time, a player which I think we passed on, and we didn't go out and actually go about. But for me, I would have rather seen us buying players like that versus buying a Pepe, where we don't really have deficiencies at the moment in attack in terms of right wingers and I would have rather said, look, we're keeping Iwobi, even though he's not great, he's not phenomenal. He can do a job. Keep Iwobi, take that money that you've used to buy Pepe, get a centre mid, get a centre back. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think maybe
yes,
Arsenal
we don't know. We don't know how good Pepe is going to be, and look, he does show flashes of brilliant stuff like that. But for me at the time, the need for me was more at the back and in the middle of the park versus
I think the difference
on the wings.
between
Because what we had on the wings.
Yeah. The difference between Wenger's style was that he would buy okay, like back half of the team, like a decent keeper, decent midfield, decent wingers. But on the front half of the field, he had guys that can score. So if we concede, we could score, And I think like it's not a great tactic to play, and I think he kind of lost that because he never solidified as much as he should have, But I think we don't have that fluidity to score. Like, if we counter or if we hit some good creative play, we're not there as yet. So it makes sense why we shouldn't buy a Pepe. I don't regret buying Pepe, but still, we shouldn't buy a Pepe where we have these kind of holes that are not going to, if Pepe is winning us a game, our defense is losing us a game. So as much as you spend 80 million to win us this game, we're not winning because every time you pass the goal in, our defense gets exposed, and I feel Martinez, as you said, I actually think he's done well because remember we were saying, everyone says Bert Leno's good, and he's good and he still concedes a lot of goals. But think about how we expose him so much. And I'm actually grateful that Martinez is able to withstand that exposure, not saying Bert can't do it, but you could see that he was getting irritated because it was just a part where 3 goals go in, he can't save any of them,
Yeah, but I think he's also being less exposed. Martinez, that is purely because we've added more numbers at the back. We've gone to a back. We've gone to 3 centre. We've gone back to we've been more pragmatic. So we've gone to a back 3 centre backs, very solid in the middle, where we don't really push up and attack anymore. So that's what I think has contributed to him looking a lot. Whereas we were still kind of gung-ho, still playing a 4-3-3 with Bernd Leno, and he was getting exposed. He was pulling saves left, right, and center. And he was really, you feel sorry for him in some games where he was just getting peppered, where we were conceding almost close to 20 shots at our goal in a game, which is something shouldn't be happening for an elite club in the Premier League, or so-called elite club in the Premier League. So
So it's one of those. A lot of work ahead there. Hopefully, as you said, Arteta used this season to test out his stuff. But either way, bruh, we won. And it's great, Danny did it for us. And we threw to the semis, man. So I think at least we can have a smile on our face. 2 wins in a row, 2 away wins. I don't know. Let's make it 3 on Norwich before we leave, bro. How are you feeling about Norwich? Are you confident? Any predictions?
It's gonna be a tough game. I hope our guys do pitch up and show fight, and because quality-wise we are better than them, but it's gonna be about us fight. It's gonna be a tough game. These guys did beat us at Carrow Road, and I don't think we've got a single easy. There's no easy games for Arsenal anymore. We just at the moment don't have quality or we don't have the fluidity in our attack to make games, and we're still quite weak at the back. So we don't have the fluidity of the attack, and we're still weak at the back. So there's never going to be any games where we're going to go gun-ho and score 3, 4, and then even if we concede 1 or 2, we've outscored our position and we've won the game. So I think from here on out, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for us. And yes, this is probably going to be the easiest out of all the games we have left. It is a home game.
Yeah, it's a home game.
It is against a team that's struggling at the moment, but they did play well yesterday against Man United. They've got a very, very good side. They've got very, very good players.
And they were unlucky
They play enterprising football, and they've got dangerous players. And we have also been linked with 1 or 2 of their players as well. So I think that it's going to be a good test for us. But I'm hoping we can see it through. But we mustn't be complacent and think that's going to be a walk in the park. We'll score 3 goals in it.
How do you feel? Think we can win it?
I think we will sneak it through. I think we will just sneak by. It will probably be like a 2-1.
Yeah.
I reckon.
I think
Southampton. It's going to be one of those where it's going to be a 2-1 or 1-0 to the
Southampton and Sheffield showed us this is how we're playing football to the end of the season.
Yeah.
We have to play like this. We have to ride out these kind of results, play this sloppy kind of football, because we're not there as yet until, as you said, until the guys get comfortable with each other, get more creative, you know, and a lot of them are maybe a bit hesitant because they know if they mess up, it's a goal. Or if they they do something stupid and they lose the ball, they put the defender under pressure, you know, which is good. It makes them think twice and it makes you go back to basics. And maybe that's essentially what we needed to do. Go back to basics. We got a coach that is ready to rebuild. So we don't know, you know, it's hard to predict it. As I said,
yeah, we just need to. Yeah, we just need to make sure we back him, we give Arteta time, and also set our expectations realistically as fans, because we know we're near where we were 10 so years ago.
bro.
So I think we need to kind of also be realistic with what we have at the moment, support the club in the best way we can, and just hope that our hierarchy also make the right decisions in terms of recruitment. And personnel and contracts and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, bro, but at least we done, you know, we threw. It wasn't a bad game. At least it was early and we're not up late. And thanks for redoing it, man. I appreciate it.
No worries.
No worries. It was great having you on. Maybe I'll catch you on Wednesday. If you
probably I'll see how work goes on Wednesday, but yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Even me. It's also it's a 7 o'clock game, right? On
I think
Wednesday
so.
For us.
I'll double check, but I think
it's those 9 o'clock ones that are a bit difficult.
Yeah, no, it's tough, bro. Because you finished at like 10, 11. The City one, I finished at like 2 in the morning, bro. It was so bad.
Exactly, because you struggle to sleep also, because I struggle with adrenaline and everything. Those late games, you struggle to sleep. So the game will finish at 11, you'll sleep at like 1. You'll end up sleeping at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
you still got work the next day.
And then you're moody because you're like, then the person has to ask you like, how was the game last night? You're like, you know what? Now, but take it easy, Nqobile. Always a pleasure having you on as usual, bro. Catch you the next time. Gunacast SA, we out, we won, we through, finals, we coming. Wembley, we there. Take it easy.
She wore a yellow ribbon.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.